So I've had my recording setup ready to go for probably the last, 20 to 30 minutes, but those past, 20 to 30 minutes have pretty much just been me trying to recap the episode and then looping the opening over and over and over again because it is so good. So, yeah, the opening's good, and they played it this episode, officially, so... Yeah, we're not really here to talk about the opening, we're here to talk about the rest of the episode, but let's just get right into it. So before the opening even played, we've been introduced now to Garo, who is I'm guessing one of the main villains for this season, and I only say one of because in the opening they kind of hinted this big monster-looking thing that I'm guessing is probably the god-level threat, but Garo is definitely a pretty badass threat right now. I don't think he's anywhere near Saitama's power level, at all. I think he's probably going to get one-punched by Saitama, or at some point this season we're going to have an initial encounter and it's going to be Saitama will be the reason why he realizes he needs to train even more to become a monster. But yeah, he basically mopped the floor with the heroes that were in the meeting from the last episode and killed all the villains that were in that meeting as well. The only guy he didn't kill was the counselor or the chairman or whatever. That's the only guy he didn't kill. Everybody else is dead, missing a limb, broken limbs. He's a pretty big powerhouse. Of course, after that we get into the opening, which is Jam Project, and they have the best openings, period, for One Punch Man. One Punch Man, doesn't matter, hate the animation, love the animation, whatever. This band is pretty much one of the most hyped bands that could have possibly been partnered with this show, and I love it. So yeah, the opening is just incredible. Like I said, I've been listening to it on loop now for almost 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm not getting tired of it. I'm going to do a drum cover of it easily, but that's not here nor there. This is the episode. Let's talk about the episode itself. Now, like I said, Garo is pretty intense. He pretty much wiped the floor with everybody, but it carried over the thing that I kind of said from last episode, where it almost feels like the show is taking itself a bit too seriously now. And that's not always a bad thing if it's broken up well with comedy. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of broken up comedy in this. It's very cut and dry. It's not dry-witted like I am used to. Let me get into some of the examples of that. So directly after the opening, we catch up with our B heroes, and they are going to find Saitama because they want to, recruit him, is what we find out later in the episode. And we also have Speed of Sound Sonic show up because he is Saitama's rival. Of course, Genos is the one who decides to take on Speed of Sound Sonic, and then Hellish Blizzard and her little squad, Eyelashes and something monkey, those are the ones who end up actually dealing with Saitama directly. And the humor in this is pretty good. I will completely admit, I have no problem with the humor in Saitama's interaction with Hellish Blizzard and her squad. He literally couldn't care less. Doesn't care. He's I don't want to buy magazines. And it's just, they are so high and mighty on themselves that when he's just don't know who you are, don't care, whatever, it's, oh man, it's great. And when Hellish Blizzard's group is you need to show respect, he literally comes on just it's a pleasure to meet you. Just deliberately I don't care. I really don't care. And as the most powerful person in this entire universe, I wouldn't care either at that point. It's hilarious. And so they're trying to recruit him because she wants to stay number one in the B class heroes. And this is essentially a recruitment/intimidation tactic. She's trying to intimidate him so that he joins her, doesn't pass him, and he even straight up says, oh, don't worry, I won't be in B class long, so you'll stay at, the number one rank. Oh, Saitama, you are savage without even meaning to be. But he literally pieces it together. He's just oh, I see what it is. You'll get in my way if I don't join your group. So, no, I'm good. I'm not going to join you. And she sends her to kind of her posse after him, and they're just taken out immediately. There's no effort on Saitama's part, just boom, boom, done. It's Saitama. What do you expect? And this is where Hellish Blizzard steps in. And I gotta say, with her abilities and the way that she acts, it's sort of we learn later in the episode, of course, that she really doesn't. She wants to be the best, but her sister, Tatsumaki, is a very powerful ESPer. Blizzard is sort of a powerful ESPer, but not the same, and she just wants to stay at the top, and she will do anything in her power to stay there, even if it means intimidating others, even if it means really not acting like a hero. And Saitama really does kind of pinpoint in on this and says, you're not going to survive this way if you keep, intimidating other heroes. This is not how you survive as a hero. But because of the fact that she still sees him as a threat to her position, she starts using her powers to attack. And, they don't really phase Saitama. I wouldn't expect them to. But where it goes next, again, it goes from the funny moment of just, him not caring to this fight. And it still feels very over serious. It feels too serious for what this series is, if that makes sense. Either way, they start fighting. And technically they don't really fight. It's sort of Saitama coaching her on what it is to be a hero while she throws all of her abilities at him. And he's completely unfazed by it. And he literally tells her that she's not cut out for this hero work because he's like, a hero is somebody who fights these very powerful villains, even if they're alone. They face these villains because there are so many in the world, and points out the fact that she gets lackeys who are weaker than her so that she can feel more powerful. And literally during this fight, she's throwing everything that she can at him, and he's coaching her on how to be a hero. I love that about Saitama. Like, it's almost like he's a already All Might level version of Deku, where it's, what it truly means to be a hero, but he's also already 100% powerful. Nobody can phase him at this point, so that's pretty neat. Granted, during this, it almost seems like she's about to cheat, I guess would be the term for it, 'cause she goes after him with a razor blade. Like, what hero goes after another hero with a razor blade? Like, she really doesn't seem like a great hero at all, and this episode really just goes almost out of its way to make her seem more like a bad guy than a hero, which maybe that's the point. Granted, getting into this part of it, we don't get a lot of comedy. It's a character development moment, which I get, and I do respect that to some degree, but it was so little of a sort of, oh, hey, this is funny, straight into a serious moment. I'm going to keep complaining about this just because it is the problem I've had so far with this season, is that it's over serious. But I've already come to terms with the fact that we're probably not going to get a first season of One Punch Man again. Like, Madhouse pulled so many strings, the director pulled so many strings, pulled so many favors to get that season to be as good as it was, that I've come to terms with it not being to that level. But on the same hand, I haven't read the manga this far, but I feel like it isn't this serious in the manga. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I am, but just tell me. Anyway, during this very last moment of Saitama's fight with Hellish Blizzard, or rather Hellish Blizzard's attempt to fight Saitama, this is where we see Genos and Speed of Sound show up, and Saitama sees them and blocks the attack that happened so that Hellish Blizzard doesn't get hurt. Like, it's very clear that even though she was trying to intimidate him, she was being a complete jackass. She was just not showing respect, not even giving him the time of day that he deserves. With all of that in mind, and the fact that she was about to attack him with a razor blade, he blocked her. Like, there's literally a shot where there are feet marks and, like, sort of a blocked mark where Saitama was standing to protect her. That's a hero. That's how you can see Saitama is different from the rest. And of course, she's completely blown away with the fact that Saitama is Genos' senpai. Like, the fact that Genos is the disciple of Saitama. Like, that is hilarious. The fact that now she's kind of realizing who she's dealing with. The fact that he is above Genos when it comes to, like, their power level, but also the way that Genos deals with Saitama. I love that. And it's sort of that realization of, like, oh my gosh, who did I just pick a fight with? Oh, I might have made a mistake here. Now, of course, this is where we do see the animation kick up a notch. Again, I don't really have much of an issue with the animation. I have a bit of an issue with the animation because it is different. There are certain things that just seem sort of shortcuts, and I'm going to get to that in a minute because there are a few things that are something that the last animation studio did well that these guys seem to be missing. But when it comes to the fights, they're not bad. And I actually have to say, the audio design, I really like the audio design on this. Like, the explosions sound like they have more oomph to them. Like, listen to this one. Or even the one from last episode, like the explosion and the fight. Like, listen. I don't know what it is. I like that explosion sound better. From an audio design standpoint, from like the stuff that I used to do with a Bridge series where I would be the audio engineer for those, and knowing how I want certain things to sound, that actually sounds really good. I don't know why. It just gets that punch right. Anyway, Genos keeps fighting Speed of Sound while Saitama just kind of stands there and watches, and Hellish Blizzard is appalled. And Genos uses some of the abilities that he gained from this robot that he fought in the last episode, and he's quick. He is not quite as quick as Sonic, but he is very close. He keeps getting behind him and getting behind him and getting close. It's really cool to see. It shows how much more powerful Genos has gotten. Words are difficult. And even Saitama's like, well, he's a little faster. He's a little faster than the last time they messed around. And I like how he calls it messed around. Like the last time they fought, Genos was crazy fast. Saitama was, of course, faster. And the animation, of course, was great on that one because it was Madhouse and it was awesome and it was an incredible fight. But I did love that level of like, you know, Saitama's here and Genos is like miles below him, and it's just like, oh, he's a little bit faster than the last time we messed around. Like he's acting like he's gotten a little bit faster after they played around like playtime or something. It's just funny. Now, the one thing I did love though is that Genos was fast enough to cut off Sonic's man bun. Like, I mean, granted, his hair looks good. Of course, it's an anime haircut, so of course it's going to look like an anime haircut. But I loved it, the fact that he let his guard down enough that Genos could cut off his little ponytail thing at the back of his head. And, oh, that was so funny. That's when he gets mad, though. This is where Speed of Sound Sonic gets very mad. So he uses this afterimage move. I forget what it was called, but it was this afterimage move where Speed of Sound made this afterimage circle around Genos. And just as Genos is about to attack, and just as Sonic's about to either behead him or just completely take him out, Saitama just pushes him down, and this is like, don't set off another explosion in front of my house. You guys don't need to fight. He's like, if you insist on fighting and you think that you're, you know, my rival or whatever, I'll fight you seriously for a little bit. Why not? Now, this is where I have a bit of an issue. So the fight itself was pretty cool. Like, the actual animation of watching Saitama do his little sidestep thing and blow past Sonic and take him out, that was really cool. Now, my problem is that it feels like, in a way, these guys are doing similar to what the last studio did, where they referenced some of the original source material. And I'm fine with that, because one has a very unique art style. That doesn't really faze me that much. But it almost felt like they used it as an excuse to not make this very... Like, it doesn't feel like it's well done. It feels like a shortcut, in a way. The previous season, it was... I don't know. The implementation was different enough that it felt like it was a joke, a reference. This almost feels like they just said, hey, he's about to be menacing. Let's just put one's version of that up on the screen now. And it doesn't feel complete. It feels weird. Out of place, I guess, is the best way to put it. Either way, this is where Saitama takes him out. After that weird menacing drawing, Saitama takes him out pretty easily, just sidesteps out of his serious series and does enough damage that's Sonic done in one shot. No surprise there. Then we get Blizzard's backstory on how her sister, Tatsumaki, was always more powerful. They both have ESP powers, but Tatsumaki was significantly more powerful. She was not quite as powerful, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's a cool little story to show why she is the way she is. Of course, after this little thing's revealed, we're back in the apartment, in Saitama's apartment, and they're listening to her talk, and Saitama's just sitting there reading manga, which I love. Again, he does not care, and that is one of my favorite things. He doesn't care. He just does whatever he wants to do because he knows he can do it. But anyway, so after that, we kind of get this idea of, he asks, why don't you just move up? She's like, I can't do that. There's many, many more powerful heroes above me that I would never be able to pass. Once you're into A class, it's insane. It's way harder to advance. You've got a bunch of these different heroes who are just impossible to beat. A very defeatist mentality, but I kind of get it because she's got this whole sister mentality, whatever. And the A-class hero we're actually introduced to give an example of how powerful these guys are is Handsome Kaminami Mask, I think was his name. And he was facing off against some, like, prehistoric monster guy or whatever, and took him out no problem, and they caved his head in with whatever. But yeah, so they use him as an example on why she doesn't want to move up, because he's just so powerful. Now, of course, Saitama is significantly more powerful. That stuff doesn't really faze him, so I don't really think that's going to be a plot point down the road. Now, of course, he sort of gives her advice, same way that, not quite to the same level, but sort of the advice that he gave to King, which was, why don't you just get stronger, in a way. Not quite the same. But right at that moment is when King shows up, and she's appalled because all these S-ranking heroes that she knows of are talking with Saitama, they're just casually dealing with him, and I love that because she's just appalled, like, how does this B-class nobody have all of these friends? And it's cool, I like it, because you get this idea that, a bunch of these people are talking to him, and a bunch of these people are familiar with him, know him, and even follow him, but it really does kind of take a turn again to almost too serious for my taste, where it feels like, Genos talks about how it's like, Master doesn't go after powerful people. Powerful people just come to him. And it's like, yeah, I get that, and I understand that, but it almost feels like straight out of the Avengers, like when they were talking about how by having powerful people around, it invites conflict and challenge. Like, that is sort of the theme they're going for here, but it feels too forced. It feels sort of just like, if it had been a comedic, like, he doesn't want these people, he doesn't want to deal with these people, they just show up or whatever, like, that's fine, but it feels like they're trying to make this into too much of a hero story, like a, Marvel-style hero story. I don't know. Maybe that's just my opinion, I could be wrong here. Of course, one of the comedic underlying things is that Saitama stole one of King's games and accidentally erased one of his saves, and when he goes to give the game back, which is why King showed up so that he could get his game back. And when he gets it back, Saitama had mashed in the buttons and broken them and stuff. So it's the little things like that I do love, the fact that you get those little day-to-day funny moments. I don't know. Maybe. But I do like the fact, though, that whether they take it seriously or not, Saitama does not care about ranks. He just wants to be a good hero. And it just so happens that powerful people show up around him. And it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be funny. If it's over serious, though, I feel like that's when we kind of get a bit of an issue. And the way they cut it together, maybe it's just the visuals. The way the visuals are put together make it feel too serious, because you get this dramatic look from Blizzard, you get this sort of slow fade between the characters and stuff. It feels like it's this drama montage, and I don't like that. But overall, I think the episode itself did a fairly good job of building story. It definitely feels like there were a couple corners cut when it comes to the animation, because it feels like they wanted to sort of save money on the animation, make a reference, and get the idea of Saitama being powerful all in one shot, and it didn't really work. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it just feels too out of place for certain elements of the show. I'm talking about the menacing scene. I don't know why. That stuck with me just because it felt so out of place. Everything else, though, about the show, the episode, was pretty cut and dry anime, which for any other show, I would be okay with having it be sort of cut and dry. That's sort of like, yeah, it was a good episode, it led to this, it led to that. Being One Punch Man, cut and dry doesn't really fit a show like this. Like, it can't just be cut and dry, because that means it was boring, or it was not to the level that has already been set, to the expectation that has been set for this show. And maybe that's just a problem with season 1 being the way it was and season 2 being the way it is. I don't know. There's still so many episodes to improve on this. I really hope that there is an improvement on this. The opening, I don't really think needs an improvement. The opening was perfect. The rest of the series, or the rest of the episode rather, I'm not going to say the series because I don't know, but the rest of the episode, decent. And that's not good when it's One Punch Man. Decent for most shows is fine, but for One Punch Man it feels not fine. I don't know. I keep saying I don't know a lot because I have so many conflicting emotions about how this show should be and how it is, but until we get further into the season, I can't really make a judgment call on that. Otherwise, I think this episode was decent. Again, as One Punch Man, not good, but decent will have to do. And otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know there's been a lot of very, very opinionated comments for the last review. And yeah, apart from that, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you all in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the last review over there, I think. Yep, and the subscribe button is right there if you want to do that, like and all that fun stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one.